Hello. We are live coming from Lake Mary, Florida. And this is Prophetess Paula Loblack. And good afternoon and good day. I just wanted to touch base with you very, very quickly. I am not going to be long because I promised to bring this real table talk to you. Destined to win real table talk. And ladies, we are going to talk about the things that we tend to shy away. We don't want to talk about it. We're afraid to deal with it. We're afraid what if people get to know we're dealing with it. So good afternoon again. This is Prophetess Paula Loblack, and I am bringing Destined to Win Real Table Talk. For those of you who know, for the past 7 years, I have established a talk show. I love talk shows. I always knew that my assignment had to do with teaching and teaching on all different topics. I love addressing all different types of topics. I love what I do, So good afternoon to you. Ladies, please don't stay in the background hiding. I want you to get right into it today, because this is what we are struggling with. Women have difficulties reaching out. We have difficulties expressing. We have difficulties giving ourselves permission to talk about things. And that's affecting you. Lots of women are hiding behind church, hiding behind religion, hiding behind marriages, hiding behind the pastor, hiding behind your first lady, hiding behind whatever you want to hide behind. But there comes a time we got to take the mask. We got to remove the mask. Amen. And we just got to face real life issues and real life struggles. And, being in the business of, being in the counseling business, for the past 27 years, it has not been, I hear a lot of different struggles and different problems. But this afternoon, I really want to talk to you on something that has been affecting millions of women. Women even die from it, which is the menopause, pre-menopause, or menopause process or syndrome or issues or whatever you want to talk about. And we have also, when I was growing up in my country, back in Dominica, I always hear my grandmother would say, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the terms at the time. But I would always hear her say that menopause kill people. And that's the other stage of a woman's life. We hear about pre-menopause issues. We hear that, we have situations where women are afraid to talk about it. Women, I know when I was raised, women was afraid to tell people that they had their period. Women would hide when they had their period. That's crazy. So, but I've always been, and I believe that God has given me this gift. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining. And God has given me this gift, and I've always been the type of woman that's very open, honest, and transparent. And I have the ability to address problems and to deal with my own problems and to deal with my own issues. And I'm very in touch with myself and very in touch with my environment. And I'm very in touch with my community. So I deal with problems all day. I'm just stopping by for a few minutes because I have to rush into a counseling session in the next 20 minutes. But I have been at it all day. Working with clients, working with people from all across the country. And it is not easy. People have real struggles and people have real problems. What we have right now is a real bad situation here all over the world. Is depression and mental illness is on the rise, and we got to pay attention to that. And it's not enough to just go to church. It's more than just going to church. Amen. But I want to talk on 3 things, and I'm going to get out of your way this afternoon. And I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you, Lawrence Etienne, for joining with me. Ladies, if you're in the background, it's okay. Your man need to know about it. And then you guys are free to tell your man that you're having menopause issues and you fake it. Child, when you have a man, the man needs to know everything about you. Vice versa. The woman needs to know everything. Your achy needs to know. You guys need to grow in love, grow in that relationship, grow in that understanding so that person can go through it with you. There is no need to hide it or no need to be ashamed of it or no need to kind of suppress it. Then if you're in a relationship and you're suppressing your menopause issue or your menopause symptoms, then that's not a good relationship. Then you don't have a communication. That's not good communication. It's not healthy. So I want to let you know it's time we come out of that cocoon or come out of that religion or come out of that, remove that religious mask and just be yourself. Be your own authentic you. Well, good afternoon again. But I want to give you 3 things that you need to know going through this menopause problem issues. Your mental and emotional state or emotional life needs to be strong. And that's another thing. A lot of women are dealing with depression and anxiety and fears and mental illness is because a lot of women going through 45, 50, up to even 60 are dealing with a lot of mental issues and depression issues, and at the same time they're going through this menopause process. And it's because the mental and emotional life is not strong. And the mental and emotional life needs to be strong if you are going to go through this process successfully without having to deal with depression, fears, and mental illness. One of the beauties of my life, and I thank God for that, and I've always encouraged your ladies to work on yourself. Sort yourself out. Counseling is a great tool that God has given us. The whole book of Proverbs talk about counseling. To sort yourself out, sort the childhood issues out, sort the issues of the childhood, the molestation, the rape, whatever you've been through, the abuse. There is a million ways. In the past, so many parents abused children. We thought, well, it was correction, but it was really too much. It was too much of force. You use too much of force on the child, not educating the child why you are disciplining the child. So it comes as an abuse, right? So all these things, but these things really affect people in the emotions. And whatever you're going through in the emotions, deep, deep, deep struggles, or I call them deep underlying issues, these things has to be dealt with. They have to be addressed and find solutions to it. Lack of bonding in the childhood, lack of love. So when women go through lack of love, rejection issues, and then you're in this next phase of your life, you're in this next phase of your life, what you tend to do, you tend to shut down on your marriage, you tend to shut down on the people around you because you go in another balloon, you go in another zone, and you're not very expressive. Now, if you're not very expressive of what you're going through, or you're not giving yourself to permission, listen to me, you got to give yourself permission to express those feelings, to express what you're dealing with, because menopause can take a toll on the mind and the emotions, on your emotions. And what menopause does, it can go and dig up all kind of childhood issues because it's a change in the body. It can go and dig up all kind of relationship issues because it's a change in the body. Now, if you have that strong relationship with God and you have worked on your emotional life, you have worked on your mental state, then it's easier for you to deal with this process because it's a process. And ladies, hear me. I don't think we should get to the place where we are ashamed to educate our young women or educate one another on this menopause process. I mean, I'm going through the process myself. And one of the things about me, I like to educate myself and I like to ask questions and I like to do research. And for the past year, since I left New Jersey, and I moved into Lake Mary, I realized there was a change in my body. I realized the bloating start. I realized in the morning I wake up, I feel fatigue. But you know, one of the things I didn't do, I didn't hide the emotions. I began to express the emotions. I began to give myself permission to express what I was going through. But the good news about this thing with my process is that because I had gone through my counseling process years ago, dealt with all my childhood issues, dealt with all the relationship problems, dealt with my marital issues at large, I didn't have no kind of deadly emotions, which is depression and sadness and nothing. I'm going through this with joy. I'm going through it with joy. I'm happy. I'm bubbly. I talk about it. I'm free about it. But one of the things I did personally, and I did the research for women, because I realized that our parents didn't educate us on it. We are in churches for many, many years, and the church is not educating women on it. We're not hearing any kind of messages on menopause. Actually, last year, I brought my cousin, when I came out from the hospital with heavy bleeding, I brought my cousin to educate us more on it, which is Corinne Black, who has been a nurse practitioner in the Orlando area, and we even have a video on it, and you can scroll my page and you can listen to it. But we have women who are doing unnecessary surgeries, and it's because when your mental and emotional life is not strong, this thing can actually drive you crazy. And women go into deep depression. They go into deep depression that causes mental illness and mental breakdown. And it's because they're going through the menopause process. I have spoke to several doctors and nurses about it. I have done personal research about it. And it's the fact that women are not educated. They have not educated themselves. They're not giving themselves permission to grieve it out. They're not seeking coaches. They're not seeking mentors. They're not seeking counselors. They're not seeking like groups that can help them, support groups that can help them. Another fact, women shut down on their husbands' marital issues because at that time you're moody. At that time you get irritable. At that time, maybe your husband or your fiancé or nobody can talk to you. And it's because you are suppressing it. You cannot suppress it. You got to express it. You have to have people, and even if you don't have a coach or a mentor, but you have to have a good friend that has already gone through it. You have to have a good nurse that you can talk to. And this is what we have over the months that I have been doing this research on the depression. Is a lot of women are dealing with emotional health problem and mental health. And when they're going through the menopause, what they say, well, I'm going to do the surgery because I don't want to go through this bleeding, or I don't want to go through this period. Well, you end up having unnecessary surgeries that you are not. Now, if a surgery is necessary, you do the surgery. If the surgery is unnecessary, then there is no need to tamper with God's organ. Our body are God's temple, is God's temple. God has, and we have to cherish what God has given us. We have to cherish every organ in our body, every part that God has given us. Now, if nothing is wrong with it, but you're just going through a process, because life is a journey. In life, you're going to go through ups and downs. You're going to go climb the hill. You know, there are different journeys you're going to go through in life. And ladies, as we get older, our body is not always going to be young and, strong. In the morning we wake up vibrant. You're going to have the aches, you're going to have the pain, and you need to be prepared for it. You need more women to come out and talk about their experiences, because what the doctors have told me, and with the research I've done, every woman go through this menopause process. We all will go through it as women, whether you're a woman, whether you're black, white, pink, green, all of us going to go through this process, because this process was ordained by God for us to go through it as women. We have to go through it. Just like how when you get pregnant, when a woman, all of us that go through childbirth, we got to carry the baby 9 months. We got to go through the childbirth to give birth to the baby. Nobody's exempt from going through that. It doesn't matter how anointed you are. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are, how anointed you are. You are going to go through the process. And what we don't have enough people talking to us about the process. And that's why I believe in educating, in equipping, and empowering our women. We need more people in our community. We need more pastors. We need more people to come out real and honest and open and talk to us about the process and address the problem and give us some solutions to the problem. And I think that is the issue right there. So we don't need people preaching at us all the time, and you have women suffering from mental illness and emotional breakdown because of menopause issues. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And we have all these big churches and we have all these big entities. And right there we have women that are suffering from mental breakdown and emotional breakdown because they're going through a menopause process and nobody wants to talk about it. Well, I'm going to talk about it. Serious. I told you I was going to do a whole series on it. I've already brought in my cousin last year. She's done a great video on it. We have given great information on it. And I've been encouraging women to work on your mental life, work on your emotional life, work on these childhood issues. You see me? I thank God I'm going through this process and I'm strong in it. I am not depressed. I am not sad. I am not confused. I don't have all these emotions. I am stable. Hallelujah. Thank you. I'm going through the pain. Yes, I feel the aching in the body, but I am stable and I can still manage myself, and it doesn't interfere with my life and interfere with what I have to do. And I'm very expressive. I talk to my mother at length about it. I talk to my aunt at length. I talk to guys, my friends at length. They say, boy, Paula, you are just so transparent. I talk to doctors at length, and I don't suppress how I feel. I tell them exactly how I'm feeling. My body's aching, my body's hurting, my body's sore. What can I do? And I'll tell you something. First of all, we must take care of ourselves. Ladies, you must take care. And let me tell you something. One of the things you must have is a prayer life. When I feel you have to be in touch with yourself. You got to be in touch with who you are. You got to be in touch with your emotions. That is why you must have, you must go through this process of counseling, of healing, emotional healing, to get back in touch with the woman. Because I started praying, I said, Lord, why am I feeling that way? Holy Spirit, why am I feeling this aching? Why am I feeling this bloating? What should I do? What should I take? Prayer, let me tell you, is one of the most greatest tools that God has given us. And I began to pray. And last year, when the doctor wanted me to do surgery, and I called my cousin, I said, do you think I should go through that surgery? And I told the doctor, no. I said, what's wrong with my organs? Why do you want to remove it? I need to know. Well, that's the only way we can stop the bleeding. No, I'm not removing my organs. I'm not removing my uterus. I'm not having a major surgery. Paula is not doing it. And when I begin to research and begin to ask questions, ladies, you got to research, you got to ask questions. It is a faith thing. You got to pray. You got to get there with God. You got to talk to God. And I told the doctor, I honor and I cherish what God has given me. My organs, my cells, my body's God's temple. And he asked you and he ordained you to care for me, not to remove them if nothing is wrong with it. And God began to speak to me. The Holy Spirit began to speak to me. He said, Paula, start calling herbal doctors, herbs. I found a Chinese doctor that she's a Christian. They do all herbs. And you put yourself on herbal teas, the old way of doing things. I started asking my mom, so how did my grandmother them handle their menopause process? I called my aunt, all my aunts back home. I keep asking questions. How did you handle this? And how did you handle that? I started doing my research. I talked to older women from different backgrounds, from Africa, from here, from America, from Canada. How did you handle this process besides doing a surgery? How did you handle your emotional life? How did you handle your mental life? Folks, the old folks handle it the old-fashioned way, and with prayer and with fasting and with exercise and with eating well and with eating healthy and entrusting themselves with other stronger women, which we call them, years ago, we call them midwives. Now we call them here OBGYN. And they could have explained them and walked them through the process. And it's a type of counseling, the midwives. You go and you be able to entrust them with what you're going through, and you can express to them and give yourself permission if you have to cry it out, because it's a real process. It's painful sometimes. Like some people go through what we call the hot flashes. Some women have the hot flashes. The hot flashes that is crazy. Thank God I don't deal with that. I'm not dealing with no hot flashes. But yes, I do deal with the aching in the body. And I start a process. My cousin walked me through it. I went through, she's a coach, a health coach. I have a health coach. I have another coach which is a doctor, a health doctor. I call him, his wife up. They walk me through it. If we don't reach out for help, ladies, and some women, as soon as they go through the aching and the pain in the body, they run and go get a surgery. But that is not the solution. Yes, you got to do the surgery if you have to do the surgery, or if the surgery is necessary, or if the uterus is cancerous, then you got to do the surgery. Fine. But if nothing is wrong with the surgery, then you have to allow the body to go through the process the natural way, because the body has its own way of healing itself. So a lot of women take up the uterus because they don't want the bleeding. They don't want to deal with a period. They don't want to deal with pain. But does that solve your problem? When you get into a marriage, you have a problem. You're moody. You have no desire for intimacy. Hey, because you remove what God gave you. You have no passion. You have no excitement. You're just there. Had you just gone through the pain, there is purpose in pain. And a lot of women don't want pain. But there is purpose in pain. If you just go through the pain, you can end up with a story. You can end up with a testimony to help someone. Now, if you have a real reason for removing the uterus or doing the surgery, then you can go through the surgery by faith, for the help of God, get the healing for the surgery, and then you can share testimony. But still, that doesn't solve. Some women remain on medication for the rest of their lives. Some of you, after the surgery, you have no, let's just keep it real. Let's just, I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to buzz the balloon. Some of you have no lubrication. Those of you who are married and those of you in a relationship, hey, I'm not in none. You have no lubrication. You're dry. The doctor still has to give you cream. You have no excitement for your husband. You have no passion for your husband because you didn't want to have a period. Does that make sense? And just if you had just gone and reached out and do the research and ask questions and go and talk to OBGYN on a deeper level, seek counseling, seek coaching, I always say sick nurse practitioners, they spend more time with you and they can help you on a deeper level. And you need a prayer life. You can't go through life and go through the different stages of your life without a prayer life. You need a prayer life. You need information. You need to sort out your own confusion, your emotional confusion. Sort out these soul ties. Sort out your parental issues. Get closure for your life, so it's like almost it's easier for you to go through. It's more bearable for you to go through the process of this menopause or pre-menopause, whatever you call it, when you deal with those things. When women are going through the menopause, they're angry with everybody. They're angry with God. They're angry with their husband. They're irritable. They're miserable. They're depressed. They're sad. They're moody. One day they're up. One day they are down. I give God praise today that I am stable. I am going through this and I am stable. My joy is consistent. My peace is consistent. My mental life is just beautiful and wonderful. My emotions is because you know what? I gave myself permission to express it. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm talking to you about at length. I mean, throughout this week, like over the weekend, I was not feeling well and I was going through body ache, bad feelings. I felt like I was pregnant. I felt like, oh my God, I didn't feel like eating. And that's why I didn't bring on my Sunday morning broadcast, because I just was not feeling well. But one of the things I started doing was begin to confess my healing scriptures, begin to pray. And, those of you who know as an intercessor, I do a lot of praying and really begin to take authority over this menopause and over the way I was feeling. And I mean, for the whole weekend, I took authority and I engaged this situation and began to pray and take authority and begin to confess and decree the healing scriptures. And I'm telling you, today, I am feeling so much better. I don't have the aching in the body. And I was able to do salt bath with lavender. You know, you have the lavender. You know, you do your stuff to help you. I have a lot of herbs I brew. I drink herbs tea throughout the day, 3-4 times per day. I'm not on no medication, absolutely on no medication, no Tylenol, no depression pills, no anti-Prozac. I mean, this is what I am on, the word. This is what I'm on, folks, the word. I mean, the word. And I mean, I'm still able to counsel like nothing is like. My clients tell me, prophetess, I can't believe you're not feeling well, but the sessions are so successful. I mean, all through the day, I've been working today, even yesterday, and I've had successful sessions going through this menopause. Now, why we don't want to talk about it? Because so many people are embarrassed, so many people are ashamed. Why don't pastors' wives? And I'm like saying, oh my God, I've been in the ministry for 20-something years, and I've never heard a message on menopause or pre-menopause. You know, you'll hear now and again Oprah say something about when she was going through her menopause process, or you may hear on something on a magazine or something, but very few ministers or even pastors' wives, or we have a conference talking on that. And then the thing is that my problem is, we need strong support. You need a strong support group. You need other women who are going through this. And I've been talking to women even over the weekend. Some women tell me they have hot flashes. Some women tell me they have body aches. I say, so what are you going for? Some women say, I lose my appetite. Some women say, I don't feel like talking. I feel isolated. I mean, you hear so many different stories because, you know, I can talk to different people. I call my health coach, which was my cousin. I call another doctor that I knew, you know, in Washington State, and I said, let's just talk this weekend, and I want to share with you some of the things I'm experiencing with this menopause, because over the weekend I lost my appetite. For instance, I made a smoothie. I normally make smoothies throughout the day, and I like all the berries, so I make a smoothie with all the berries. When I made my smoothie, I put like all the berries, blueberry, blackberry, you know, all the berries. And then I put, I did with some almond milk, and then I put some protein. And as soon as I, you know, put it in a glass so I could drink, my stomach says, oh, no, you're not giving me that. I did not even drink that thing. I kept that thing for 2 days in the refrigerator. I had to throw it away. Then I had some chicken. My stomach said, oh, no, you're not giving me no chicken today. And I went through this couple of days that I didn't feel like eating. Everything I said I want to eat, I didn't feel like eating. I don't know, I ended up making some Caribbean food, which we call saltfish and cabbage. But that's what I'd feel like, a little salt. It makes me feel, you go through this process like you feel, that's how I'm feeling, that's what I'm going through. Like you feel like almost like you're pregnant. You feel like you're having a period, but there is no period. And different people go through different things. I spoke to someone over the weekend. She said, girl, I've been so hot. I put the air condition from one end to the next. And then she said, I put fans in the house and I bought more fans. And she said, child, I feel like I'm catching fire. Some women go through headaches. Some women go through breathing problem. Now, we can talk about this coronavirus. And that's what I don't understand with women. And I don't understand with us Christians. The coronavirus, everybody can talk about it. The different symptoms. You hear all the different all the different people talking, health people, the different symptoms that this coronavirus have. Why can't we talk about the different symptoms of the menopause? Why can't we come as women empowerment, women group, and everybody talk the different symptoms? Because there are thousands of different symptoms that women go through. Some women, their whole body swell. Some women end up in the hospital. Some women end up in the emergency with this thing. I remember I used to hear my grandmother say, even my mother told me, people die from this thing. Because it's a real experience. Women, I mean, and that's why men has to be educated. Your husband, you got to get your husband involved. Because if you're going through emotional pain, or you are going through something mentally and emotionally, you're in a relationship or you are in a marriage, you need to communicate clearly with your husband. That's very important. You can't be in a marriage with a man and don't want to communicate with him what you're going through or what you're experiencing. That's bizarre. You got to tell him. I don't know about you, but when I was married, my ex-husband was all over me when I had my menstruation. Yes. I tell him exactly how I'm feeling, what I'm going through. He get the pad, he get everything. He all in it. He get the hot tea, he get the hot pad. He's all there with it. I don't know about you. I like to get people involved. I like to be expressive, tell you exactly how I feel, so you can be supportive and vice versa. You're in a marriage, you're in a relationship, and the relationship is 100%, 100%. You're going to support the person 100% with whatever they're going through, and they're going to support you 100% with what you're going through. And a lot of men are confused. They don't know how to handle the women in the menopause process. You go to the doctor, you don't tell your husband what the doctor is saying. Your husband have no clue what is going on. You don't even tell him when you have a doctor's appointment. You just go. You don't even talk. You don't say anything, but you're ashamed. Why are you ashamed? Why are you embarrassed? Isn't that the same man you're having sex with? Isn't that the same man you're making love with? So why can't he know about the process? Why can't he know that you're experiencing bloating feeling? Why can't he understand that, you feel upset, you feel like you're pregnant? Why are you afraid to tell him that you feel achy and you don't feel good? Why are you hiding? Why are you so secretive? And I think as women, and I think the mental illness and depression and sadness is coming from women are eating their pain. Women are just eating the pain. They are suppressing their pain. And they're not giving themselves permission to express it. Give yourself permission to express what you're going through so you can avoid depression and sadness and anxiety and confusion and fear. Because let me tell you something. What's killing people right now in this season is not the coronavirus. As a counselor, I came to tell it to you. What's killing people right now, even women, is your fear of not allowing people into your world and into your circle. You don't want nobody to know what you're going through. But you're not the only one going through it. That's the thing I don't understand. I don't get with you guys, women. You always want to have a business. I don't want nobody in my business. Menopause is not a business. God created it for everybody to go through it. One of the reasons why people die, you could be healed from cancer, but because you're afraid to tell people that you have cancer, God cannot heal anything that is in the dark. If you're afraid to reach out for help, if you're afraid to tell somebody you have a tumor or cancer, then you're going to die from it. You got to bring it to light. You have to have somebody you can trust, that you can talk to, that you can bring this thing to light. And again, some of you are just on Facebook, wasting time on Facebook. Why can't you just have a Facebook Live and share with someone what you're going through? Why can't you make your Facebook time more productive and more successful, that you can help other women with what you're going through, than just being a spy on Facebook and have no purpose and no destiny and no reason why you're on Facebook? And you guys are just on Facebook watching people's business. Why can't you just share your experiences on Facebook and help another woman? Because you're not the only one going through this. I remember when I was going through my divorce, oh my God, I felt I was the only one. The pastor abandoned his wife. The pastor left his wife and gone in a hotel room with a woman. Let me tell you. When I got out in the community one day, in pain, crying, and I was praying, that's why I say you need a prayer life. And I prayed and I said, God, what do I do with this pain that I'm experiencing? How do I handle this pain that I'm experiencing? Because I felt I was the only person going through this. A pastor had never done this to his wife. And as I started navigating my way through the community in Orlando, every woman I talked to, some of them were pastors' wives, that their husband abandoned them. I say, where is your husband? He's in a hotel room with a woman, or he moved out with a woman. And I start going every day, and I say, Lord, give me 3 women to talk to. And every woman, I never forget that. It's in my book. You could read it in my book. It's in my book. True story. Every woman, I go to the supermarket, the Holy Spirit says, speak to this one. I go to talk to this one. And everybody I would talk to had a story that their husband had abandoned them. And then God began to speak to me in prayer. He said, Paula, you are not alone. And some of the women would tell me, because mine was fresh, they said, prophetess, you are not alone. There are other women. And that's what gave me courage. And I know today some of you might say, well, why Paula come on social media and talking about the menopause? Hey, hello. I came to talk about it because there are millions of women right now under my voice who are dying from mental illness and depression because of menopause. I am coming on social media to talk about it because there are thousands of marriages that are in trouble. You know why? Because women are not being open, honest, and transparent with their husband about the process. I'm coming on social media and talk about it because right now you are going to lose a good friend of yours, and they're going to die with depression and mental illness because they don't know how to handle this menopause process. This thing is very hard on the body. It's very hard on the body. I told my mom over the weekend and my family, I said, this is very hard on me. And yet still I live alone. And I still have to do my work here, and I still have to counsel on a daily basis. When I leave you right now, I'm going straight into a counseling session for the next 2 hours and 15 minutes. And those sessions are very intense sessions. They're not sugar cake sessions. They're very intense sessions. People have real issues and dealing with real struggles. And these are professional people I'm talking about. So I don't want you to take any of these nuggets that I'm giving for granted, because these are real issues. And I'm going through it right now, this menopause process, and I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's a crazy thing, but I thank God that I am stable in it. And you know why? I have a prayer life. I have a great prayer life. You know why? I have a relationship with the Lord. You know why? I know how to confess and decree. I know how to take authority. I know how to pray through myself. I know how to pray through myself healing. I know how to release the power of God in my own body. Then you know why? I have gone through and I have sought out all my mental issues, my emotional issues, my marital issues, my relationship issues, and I've received deliverance and inner healing. And folks, you need to sort that out. You need to sort these things out. So when you're going through, whether the doctor diagnosed you with something, whether the doctor says something, when you go through this and you sort out yourself, it will be more bearable to go through anything that the devil tried to do to you. It will be more bearable. And that's why you need to take time and space and deal with yourself for a moment. Sort yourself out. And I just want to thank you there. That tomorrow I'm going to bring some more stuff. I have to run into a session right now. But I promise you that I was going to come on and start to talk about the menopause process. And nobody tells me, I don't care who you are, you could be from my family, you could be my friends. Nobody said, why Paula come on social media talking about her business? Why is you afraid to tell people about your business? People are dying. Every day, we're losing over 20,000 people in this country out of depression and mental illness. You know why? They're afraid to talk about their menopause process. We're having, and whilst we are talking, we're having some woman right now who don't want a period, and she's removing her organs when she can save it and have a successful marriage. So nobody come and tell me why you don't talk about it. Don't come and tell me that. I'm talking about it. It's because we hide so much. That's why we have so much issues, because we hide. We got to become a generation now where we become more open, honest, and transparent and real with our lives, and begin to give knowledge, because knowledge is power. Thank you. Knowledge is power. We need to begin to educate and equip and empower the next generation, because we're going to lose a whole generation. So I want to thank you, and I want you to stay tuned this week, because I'm going to come on with more Destined to Win Real Table Talk. Tell a friend, share this video on your page. I got to run into a counseling session, so I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.